So I'm going to say good morning. I'm assuming you're on Central Time today.
Yes, it's 11 here.
Yeah, there you go. So good
Texas.
morning. Thank you for taking the time. How's the day going aside from dealing with, media nonsense?
I just bought a house, so I've been renovating it and releasing an album at the same time.
Releasing an album at the same time, a couple of random Florida gigs, Experience Hendrix, headlining tour after that, UK tour after that, just a few things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this new record, Money and Power, when did you actually finish it?
Well, we finished it last year and we
Mhm.
recorded it around actually this time, exactly last year. So I'm very excited to put it out. I'm feel very close to the songs and very connected with the album, and I'm really just proud of it.
Sure. Like all of your albums, some great special guests on there. When do the guests come into the process of making the album?
Well, I believe right off the bat. So the first song that you'll listen to when you open or put your CD in, or you listen to it on your phone. Um, my friend Chris Stone is playing with me on Brown Liquor, and that's the opening track.
Hmm.
And it just sets the tone for the whole album. And I wanted to start the song or the album with that song just because it's so powerful and it's a collaboration with a good friend. And um, yeah, like I said, it just sets the whole tone for the rest of the songs.
In the case of Chris Stone, I've had the pleasure of interviewing him. I never called him by his first name. I just went straight to Kingfish. I
Oh,
didn't know
okay.
I could get
Yeah,
on
I
a
call him
first name.
Kingfish too sometimes. Yeah.
I had common ground as a professional wrestling fan because he's a diehard. So I went there. What's your common ground with Chris Stone? Is it guitar? Is it blues?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's guitar and music is our common ground. And I learned so much from just watching him too on stage. And I really love his voice. His voice is beautiful. And just his overall sound with him and his band is incredible. And yeah, I've known him since we were both, I think I met him when I was like 15 or 16, when we were both 15. And I guess it's like 10 years now I've known him. So very excited to have a collab with him. He's awesome.
Well, in terms of being the young person who gets the early start and then grinds it into an amazing career, Bonamassa, one of your other collaborators, a friend of mine who was a teen guitar great upstate New York,
Mhm.
didn't pan out as a blues guitar great, told me about
Mhm.
Smokin' Joe. That was
Mhm.
his name as a kid and all.
Yeah.
Does Joe ever or did Joe ever offer unsolicited advice of like, you're young now, but you're going to grow into this? Did he ever do that to you like a mentor?
Well, yeah, again, I'm very grateful, to have all these friendships within the
Sure.
blues community and in the genre. He did tell me, he said that at this time is going to be the hardest that I'm going to work in my career, is what he told me. Um, and again, I look to him for inspiration. I look to a lot of people like
Mhm.
in the blues community for inspiration and um, other guitar players, other singers, musicians. There's so many amazing um, artists and musicians that I see online or on the road at a festival or on a cruise ship that we play. Like
Sure.
it's pretty incredible how many amazing artists there are out there, and I'm just taking it all in.
Last question about Joe before I take it back to you and all that.
Okay.
So he something different that he seems to do compared to every other guitar-oriented or blues-oriented artist is he has a new album out in some form, whether it's live or a compilation, like
Hmm.
every 6 months.
Hmm.
Whereas a lot of blues artists I find are the once every 3 years, once every 4 years kind of thing. Where do you see yourself by comparison in terms
Um,
of releases? Because your albums are real albums.
yeah, I guess I don't I approach it as, inspiration strikes. I don't want to put out I don't want the intention to be, oh, I need to put out this album because I need to make money and I need to, continue this uh pursuit of, you know, putting stuff out. Um, but I know I need to be consistent in that way, but I don't want to my first intention to be, oh, I need to write these songs and I need to do this so I can make money and all this stuff. I want the intention to be like, oh, I have this experience that I went through that really touched me in a
Okay.
certain way, and I need to get this out. I need to communicate this connection in this way, and I think it happens like organically after that, and is a it it flourishes in that way versus like, oh, we need to do this, we need to create these songs, we need to have this plan, which I I also do, but I don't want that to be the main reason why I'm putting out music because it's almost contradictory to how I feel as an artist, and I'm really trying
Right.
to hone in on that more, um, looking for that connection and really looking at myself and what I want with my music and how I want it to connect with people. Um, but I am like a workaholic as well at the same time. Like I tour so much and
You
it's
do.
because I love it. It's because I love the pursuit of just going for your dreams and following what you want to do and just really, really pushing it as, however you can go, with what you want to do.
Sure.
Um, so yeah, it's a balance that I'm continuing to learn and continuing to like learn how to navigate it all. But
Hmm.
I'm really trying to just look at all of it in a more or a different light than just pushing stuff out all the time because it can get really exhausting too. It can get real disingenuous and just stressful and you get
And blues is
tired.
the opposite of being
Yeah,
disingenuous. Yes.
yeah, yeah. But I'm not saying Joe's disingenuous by me
No,
saying that at
that's
all because I think he's amazing and he's able to do it at that level, like push it every 6 months and do it in that way, which is incredible.
yeah.
Um, but for me, like I'm still, I mean, I'm pushing out albums like you said, like probably like every other year. Which is still a
Right.
lot to think if you think about it, like putting an album out once a year. Because once you put that album out, you tour on it and
Hmm.
you do all this press stuff for it um, and then while you're pushing that album, you're also writing a brand new album and a new concept and sometimes you have to like live a little life in between all of that
Sure.
to even start writing stuff again because when you're on tour, you are kind of in a different lifestyle, a different mindset because you're working and you're still seeing the world and meeting different people, which is amazing. I love that aspect of touring. But a lot of times it gets kind of monotonous and a lot of just like, I gotta be here at this time, and then we gotta drive
Right.
all the way here and we gotta fly here and be here at this time and it's a lot of like just moving parts all at one time. And so sometimes things pass you by. So it is nice when you have a little window of time to just kind of exist and live life and go through things. So you can make a new album in and for the next time.
And in terms of your touring, I think it's also interesting that you have different kinds of performances, you have different kinds of slots that you do. So, for example, what you're doing in Clearwater or what you did, I think I was in Fredericton, Canada, when you did Harvest Musical Festival
Yes.
2 years ago. So what you're going to do there is very different than what you're going to do at the Iridium, which is the exact opposite of what you're going to do with experience Hendrix.
Mhm.
So in other
Yeah.
words, I think, and this is not a question, this is a compliment. I think you've learned how to perform in any scenario that you're given. So when did you start to feel comfortable with, winning over crowds that you could just do it whatever the setting is?
Well, thank you. That's really nice of you to say.
Sure.
I think being comfortable in the discomfort is what
Oh.
helps me. Like, um, I realized last year when I was touring, like I said before, it becomes monotonous because you play so many shows a year, and the songs evolve and they would and change with my band, and I really enjoy that part of it. Um, so I think welcoming new um, different types of shows and um, adding in songs, taking out songs, letting the songs that you've recorded evolve over
Mhm.
time. I think that can establish like a new experience for a musician that's touring all the time,
Mhm.
and a band that's touring all the time. And also not being afraid to try something different in your set that you may not know how it's gonna happen, or how
Mhm.
people are gonna react to it or how you're gonna react to it on stage. And just being like really intentional with your connection and how you want to portray your music to people and with your band. Um, but yeah, just being comfortable with the discomfort and being open to change and being open um, to just different situations and uh, flourishing in the chaos.
Flourishing in the chaos. Well said. Well, I've got two quick questions for you, and then I let
Mhm.
you go. And
Okay.
hopefully they're a little more lighthearted. And the first
Oh yeah.
one is when it comes to playing guitar, I think that people have phases where, of course, you start off with the cowboy chords, the open chords, then eventually you can bar chord it. Then you realize, oh, I can solo a little bit. Then there
Hmm.
comes that phase of after realizing that you can solo, that you shred, or at least you try to get too many notes in. I'm
Hmm.
assuming that in that case. Did you have your shred phase where you were playing too many notes?
um, I I think there's a time and place to quote shred.
Hmm.
Um, and here lately, I've really been trying to be intentional with like what I was talking about before, like the connection that I have on
Hmm.
stage and when I'm playing my instrument with, the connection with myself or with my band and with the audience. And I noticed last year when I was playing, we played so much that I started to kind of play in my ego, and I didn't really like that. I didn't like I would play instead of playing instead of playing for the applause and the praise, I want to play for the connection and how it makes people feel. And as soon as I noticed that, the energy and the whole show just felt different for me and for my band. Like I talked to my band about it too, and it feels way different. And like I'm actually like giving something to the audience versus like watch me play this solo, like watch me do this and like clap for me, like I don't want to do that. I mean, it's nice to hear someone say that you're a great guitar player and but it's bigger than just me. Like I want to, especially with this new album and the message that comes with it, I really want to inspire other women, other young girls, other just young players and introduce them into the genre. Um, and also it's nice to see someone that looks like you on stage doing what they want to do regardless of what their outside circumstances are. And if I can inspire a girl to even not just play music, just do what she wants to do,
Hmm.
just seeing another woman up on stage doing what, you know, she wants to do is a big inspiration. And I don't know, I'm just focusing more on that versus like what you said, like shredding or because
but to rudely
because
interrupt,
yeah, because the
did have
guitar is
a
gonna be there
yeah.
regardless of, because I've established myself in that way, and um and I'm still working at it, obviously. I don't think any musicians like, I got this down, like I definitely don't have it down, but I know how to exude my light through my instrument and how to connect with people in that way. And I'm going to continue to search for that versus like, sorry, my phone's going off. I should have turned it off.
No problem.
But search for that instead of like being like, let me see how fast I can go. Like, it's cool and it can impress like other musicians and other, you know, um, people that are into that stuff, like a musician. Um, but I think the connection is more, I guess, more important than that. But yeah, I don't
Definitely.
know.
It definitely is more important than that. It just shows that what I just heard is that you're continually growing and you have to be mindful of being true to
How
your
much you
audience.
do that, I guess. Yeah.
Sure. And my last question is one of your albums is called Puppet Show.
Oh
And
yeah.
whenever I hear Puppet Show, I go two ways. One, it's like kids' birthday parties, kids under
Yeah.
6, and the other is Spinal Tap. Was it a
Uh-huh.
Spinal Tap reference?
It wasn't,
Oh,
but that's funny. Um, no, my puppet show, I wanted to, I guess thinking back on it, when you're a teenager and, you're living on your parents' roof and you don't have a lot of like you want like all this freedom, you want to like do all the adult things, you want to like, and you feel kind of trapped in a way, or like,
sure.
oh, like I want control of my life now, but like your adolescent brain's like not ready for all that. And so but yeah, feeling confined, feeling controlled, feeling trapped, and like being molded into something that you're not sure you know is really you, or all those teenager things that you're going through. And so that was what puppet show is about.
Before I let you go, do you know the Spinal Tap Puppet Show reference?
um no.
Okay, really, really short. Spinal Tap, which is a fictional
Yes, I know
hard
Spinal
rock.
Tap. I've seen it where they're like trying, like they're in the venue and they're like trying to find, where to go in the venue, and like
Yes,
all of the bad harmonies that they try to do, and all the it goes to 11, I know all that stuff. But I can't
exactly.
remember.
The
Yeah.
they're when their career is really on the downward spiral and they're playing at this amusement park, it's says Puppet Show and Spinal Tap. So I didn't know if that was symbolic for a
Oh,
mocking.
okay. No, it wasn't, but that would have been funny.
Well, that'll
But I
just be
love
your
Spinal
live
Tap.
album.
It's pretty funny. And yeah.
Your live album Puppet Show Live an Evening with Ally. But anyway, thank you for the years of great music. Looking forward to seeing the show in Westbury. Looking forward to seeing the show at the Iridium. Keep up the great work and looking forward to the next album as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Paltrocast.